Mr. Loser Twilight Fanfiction audio story Edward and Bella romance. I admired Bella through my black framed glasses. She was sitting with her friends and smiling beautifully. Her chocolate brown hair was down. It looked so shiny I felt the desire to run my hands through it. My thick glasses were perched on the tip of my nose. I pushed it up with my index finger as always. She was so stunning. It was hard not to look. I tried reading through my chemistry book that I've read a million times already. It was just so darn difficult not to look at Bella. Anyone would find it challenging not stare into her brown sparkling eyes and to look at her luscious pink lips. Emmett came to sit at my table, interrupting my gawking. "Hello Edward," he greeted in his nerdy voice. "Hi Emmett, did you finish the extra credit for biology?" I asked. "Yes, I did it before you," he said enthusiastically. His brown curly hair was in knots like always and his worn-out glasses were perched on his nose. His brown eyes always beamed when he would beat me and whoever finished their homework first. "I was busy last night. I was watching Star Trek," one informed calmly. Mostly I didn't care if Emmett finished before me. I knew already I was way more intelligent than he would ever be. "Sure, or you were too busy daydreaming about Bella Swan." He chuckled. "Shut up, she might hear you," I practically shouted while hitting him on the arm. I looked over to where Bella was sitting with her friends during study hall like always. She didn't seem to have noticed what Emmett said. I sighed in relief. "Everyone knows who have liked Bella Swan ever since 6th grade," he said obnoxiously. "According to my calculations, that is not true. Of all the friends I have, I only told you," I said honestly. "I'm your only friend," he contradicted sternly. "True," I agreed sadly. As sad as it was, Emmett McCarty was the only true friend I have ever had. Everyone in my school thinks of me as the super smart kid with huge glasses. No one really tries to take the time to get to know me. But something about Bella Swan was different. She didn't treat me the way my other peers treated me. She actually talks to me. I wouldn't exactly call her my friend. But she has always been sweet to me. I'm guessing she is kind to me because she pities me. Either way, I'm still madly in love with her. The bell abruptly rang, causing me to flinch. Emmett and I said our goodbyes, then departed study hall. While walking to biology, I tripped over something, causing me to fall to the floor. All my books scattered to the ground. I yelped as I hit the hard, cold floor. Luckily my hands broke my fall. I heard a lot of girls laughing hysterically over me. When I looked up I saw Lauren Mallory and her clique. "Look girls, it's Edward, the geek," she smirked maliciously. They all laughed from her rude comment. I realized then that it was Lauren's foot that made me fall. I sighed in frustration as I started to pick up my school books. "Lauren, what are you doing?" I heard a beautiful voice yell angrily behind me. I instantly froze, knowing who was behind me. Oh, nothing Bella, we're just goofing around," Lauren stuttered in a panicky voice. I couldn't see Lauren's face, but I could tell she was probably frightened by Bella's sudden appearance. "It doesn't look like you're just goofing around," she disagreed bitterly. I finally looked up and saw Bella. She was looking down at me in pity. Bella, it's not a big deal. Apologize," she demanded harshly while interrupting Lauren. "What? No," I said. "Apologize Lauren," Bella said a bit more menacingly. Lauren sighed in aggravation and then looked down at me. "Sorry," she said bitterly. Then Lauren and her gang fled the hallway. My heart thumped unevenly because Bella bent down to help me pick up my books. "Let me help you with those," her soft, angelic voice said. "Gee, thank you," I stuttered shyly. She smiled warmly. "I'm sorry about those girls. They can be real assholes," she giggled softly while standing up and handing me my books. "If they bother you again, just tell me, okay?" she asked. I nodded while grinning sheepishly. "Bye Edward," she waved and then turned around and headed for class. My stomach did this weird floppy roller coaster thing when she said my name out loud. I smiled all the way to history. Everyone stared at me for looking like a fool. I didn't even pay attention during class. All I could think about was Bella. She was so brave for sticking up for me. Lauren was the bitchiest person in the whole school, and Bella had the guts to yell at her. She was so confident and cool. How could anyone not love her? She was simply extraordinary. While waiting in front of the school bus after school, our bus driver doesn't let us in the bus until the final bell rang. Some jock bumped into me, causing me to fall on the cement floor. Ouch, I muttered as I hit the hard ground. I heard him mutter a, sorry. I then realized that my glasses came off as I hit the ground. I started looking for them on the ground, my eyes squinted as I searched. I could barely see anything. Are you looking for these? I heard a girl say behind me. I got up from the ground and turned around to find Alice Brandon holding my glasses with a smugly smile on her face. Why yeah thanks, I stuttered nervously while reaching out to grab my eyeglasses. She turned to her side so that I didn't get a hold of my glasses. You're Edward Cullen, right? She asked, still smirking, twirling the glasses with her fingers. Yes, I replied awkwardly. She stared at me skeptically for some strange reason. She looked at me as if she was trying to figure out a hard puzzle. She still refused to hand me my glasses. Do you own contacts? She asked suddenly. I was surprised by her answer. Why would Alice Brandon be asking me if I owned contacts? What made me even more nervous was the fact that Alice's best friend was Bella. Yes, but I don't wear them, I answered strangely. Well, you should. You look good without glasses, she complimented and then finally handing me my glasses. She suddenly turned around and made her way through the crowd of people outside of the school. I put my oversized black glasses back on me. I thought about what Alice just said. Maybe I did look better without glasses. If I wore contacts, maybe Bella would actually think of me as a cool guy. Just maybe. When I entered my house, I walked straight into the kitchen to find Esme cooking, like always. Hi mommy, I said while kissing her on the cheek. Hello honey, how was school? She asked politely. Fine, I answered. I'm making pot roast tonight, your favorite, she exclaimed happily. Oh wow, thank you mommy, I'm going to go upstairs and do my homework, I said. My mother could always make me happy, which made me love her even more. She nodded and then I fled upstairs to my bedroom with my book bag. My room was filled with Star Wars posters and I had a solar system blanket on my king-sized bed that Esme got me for my 17th birthday. I dumped my backpack onto my bed and then looked at my reflection in the mirror. My bronze hair was gelled to the side, and my huge glasses were bent. I thought again to what Alice said I took of my glasses and then studied myself in the mirror. My green eyes were much noticeable without my glasses on. My beige khaki pants were wrinkled and my dark blue suspenders seemed to fit me strangely. I still looked like a dorky kid though, and that was never going to change. The answer is x squared. Emmett contradicted. No, it's x cubed, I disagreed. Emmett and I were in study hall again, arguing over a simple math equation. I think it's squared, he said again. Well, I think it's cubed. I guess we will find out the answer in calculus, he grinned. Fine, I snapped. We went back to reading our books. Emmett and I always argue over topics. It was either math equations, or Star Trek, or if the Sci-Fi Channel is overrated. Emmett looked past my shoulder. Alice Brandon keeps staring at you, he said astonished. I stiffened. Really, like how? Is she glaring or just staring? I asked him. She seems confused for some reason, he said while scrunching his eyebrows. I wonder why, I thought out loud. I immediately remembered how strange Alice was with me yesterday. She never speaks to me, nonetheless tell me I look better without glasses. Girls like Alice don't speak to me except Bella. I looked over to where Bella was sitting with Alice. When Alice caught me glancing, she quickly looked back into her book. She is probably confused by the fact that I'm the biggest dork in this school and yet I have more muscle than Mike Newton, he said while flexing his arm. I chuckled. Well, it's not your fault that your dad makes you go to the gym. True, he nodded in agreement. His eyes suddenly widened with shock behind his thick glasses. Oh my French toast. Alice is coming here, he informed enthusiastically. What? I asked in shock. I was too scared to look behind me. Hi Edward, I heard Alice say behind me. I nearly jumped out of my seat. Hello Alice, I greeted, obviously flustered. Do you mind if we talk in the hallway privately? She asked smiling. Emmett's jaw dropped. Sure, I said, trying to keep calm. I got up from the table giving Emmett a nervous glance before leaving the room with Alice. When we got in the hallway, Alice abruptly turned around and stared at me from my head to my toes. I stiffened nervously. Why was she staring at me like that? Why aren't you wearing your contacts? She asked while placing her hands on her hips. I stuttered nervous. I didn't actually take it seriously that she wanted me to wear the contacts. And besides, I didn't know how to put them on. I didn't know why you wanted me to actually wear them, I said while choking out a chuckle. I said they would look good on you. Yeah, but just never mind, Edward, can I be honest with you? She asked. She spoke her words very slow and calmly. Sure, I stuttered, not really prepared for what she was about to say. Edward. She took a couple of steps toward me. I have known you for a long time, ever since 6th grade, and ever since I've known you have been the sweet, humble nerdy boy, she spoke honestly. I wasn't offended by her calling me nerdy, I was used to it. Go on, I prompted. And yesterday when I saw you without your glasses, well, how do I put it? You looked like a model, she said. The way she said it made me realize that she was not lying. She looked me straight in the eye, with no hint of bluffing. Are serious? I asked, shocked by what she had just said. She nodded quickly. I don't know if you have ever noticed, Edward, but you have really nice features. I shook my head, speechless from all her comments. Well, I was kind of wondering if I could do a project of you, she asked awkwardly. I stifled a chuckle. Sure, I'll do a project with you. I smiled. Alice frowned. I never said I wanted to do a project with you. I said I want to do a project of you, she said slowly. I grimaced. How can you do a project of me? I asked, genuinely confused. She stood straight and proud. I want to give you an Alice makeover, she said in a triumphant voice. I just stood there, staring at her as if she was a mental person. What? I asked in disbelief. She giggled offhandedly. Edward, have you ever wondered what you like behind your glasses? You look like a totally different boy. Well, you look like a man, she grinned widely. I raised my brows in shock. Really? Yes. And imagine what you would look like if I gave you a totally whole new look and wardrobe, she said enthusiastically. I thought it through for a minute. If Bella saw me as a macho, cool guy, maybe she would actually think of me as someone she could see herself with. I crossed my arms over my chest. What's in it for you? I asked suspiciously. I had to be sure. People like Alice don't go up to nerds like me to give them makeovers. It all could be a joke for all I know, and I would rather be safe than sorry. I just want to help out a friend, she replied while placing her right arm around my shoulders reassuringly. And besides, it would make me feel better for helping those less fortunate than me, she smiled sincerely while placing her hand over her heart, even though that was kind of offending to me. Gee, thanks, I said sarcastically. Her eyes brightened up even more. So when should start? She asked enthusiastically. I groaned. Alice decided to give me her Alice makeover at my house after school that day. We decided to take Alice's yellow Porsche to get to my house. The yellow Porsche that made everyone swoon. So what exactly are you going to do to me? I asked Alice cautiously while opened the front door to my house. I can't tell you that. It will be a surprise, she informed while giggling. All right, I muttered incoherently. We reached the kitchen to find Esme cleaning. Hi Mommy, this is Alice, I said while gesturing toward Alice. Esme smiled sincerely at her. For some reason though, Alice froze with shock. Oh hello Alice, didn't you go to Edward's middle school? She asked. Alice nodded, still speechless for some reason. Alice came to help with homework and stuff, I lied. Alice and I thought if we told my mother she was giving me a makeover that she would flip her lid. So we decided to bend the truth a little. Esme nodded and then went back to working. I instantly felt guilty. She quickly believed the lie I just told her. Before I could react, Alice pulled my arm and made her way upstairs, still dragging me. Are you all right? I asked, genuinely concerned. Her eyes were still somewhat wide. Edward, do you seriously call your mother Mommy? She asked, dumbfounded. I still didn't understand why she was so shocked. So, Alice scoffed. You're almost 18 years old, Edward, she said slowly. Your point? I asked, still not getting it. No adult calls his mother Mommy, she said flatly. Why not? She groaned. Never mind. Where is your room? Over there. My pale hand pointed to the door next to the bathroom in the hallway. She nodded her head and then went to go inside. When she was actually in there, she suddenly stopped, dead at her tracks. Her eyes widened with shock, and she was stiff as a cardboard. I wasn't surprised. Alice, what's wrong? I asked, concerned. This is your room, she asked, traumatized. I nodded. Her mouth was still wide open. She walked into the center of the room, taking in the Star Wars posters, the planet's bedsheet, and the glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. Alice finally looked me in the eyes, her glare penetrating. I am no longer just giving you a makeover but your room as well, she started harshly. What? I said, flabbergasted. Edward, once I'm done with you you'll be Mr. Popular. You can't have a room like this, she explained while gesturing around the room. Why not? I asked, still bewildered. It's not like people will be in my room. I honestly don't think anyone would be in my house either. A makeover can't make a nerdy boy popular, can it? Yes, people will be in your room. Once you're popular you're going to be doing a lot more with girls than just tutoring them, she teased, smirking widely. My face reddened with embarrassment from her comment. I didn't want to know what she even meant. Okay, where should we start? She said while placing her index finger on her lips, tapping them lightly. She examined me slowly from my head to my toes. Let's start with your room, she giggled while stripping my bed sheets. Hey, I whined like a 5-year-old. My mom got me those for my 17th birthday. Alice snorted. That's exactly why I'm taking them off. You need plain bed sheets, not dorky ones, she noted sternly. I grimaced. I will miss those wonderful sheets that made me sleep like a baby. After she was done removing my sheets from the bed, she then started taking down my Star Wars posters from my white walls. Hey, I whined again. Why are you taking those down? Alice stopped and stared at me as if I were an extraterrestrial. You have got to be kidding me, right? I frowned in defeat. She was going to win anyway, as much as I complained. That's what I thought. She continued to take down my lovable posters that I cared for as if they were my own children. After 10 long minutes of watching her take down the posters, she then stopped and looked around the plain room. Are you done with my room? I asked in a bored tone. I think so, she said hesitantly, her eyes still wandering around my room. Her eyes suddenly shot to me. She grinned wickedly. Now I'm done with your room. Now let's begin with you, she said enthusiastically while clapping her hands eagerly. I groaned. I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. Oh, hush up, you bitter butt. She giggled while poking my hair with her pale finger. Whoa, your hair is so stiff. Why do you use so much gel? She asked. I don't know what else to do with it, I said honestly. I can fix that, she stated cheerfully. She then started dragging me by the arm to the bathroom. She walked over to my shower and turned it on. What are you doing? I yelled over the running water. You'll see, she said while grabbing my head and rinsing it under the shower hose. I didn't protest much. It was warm water, so it didn't bother me. After she was done washing my hair with shampoo and condition, which we got from Renesmee, Alice then took Renesmee's blow dryer and started drying my hair. Have you ever used one of these? She asked loudly over the loud machine. No, I mouthed back to her. After 5 minutes of drying my reddish-brown hair, she turned the blow dryer off and examined me. Wow, you have really nice hair, Edward, she said astonished. Really? I grinned widely. Take a look for yourself, she said while pointing to the mirror. I eagerly went to go see my new hair. My eyes immediately shot wide open when I saw my brand new hair. It wasn't so stiff anymore, it wasn't even brushed. My hair was naturally straight, and even to me, my hair looked pretty good. The bronze color of my hair brightened more, making me look even better. The messy look made me look much, much better. Wow, thanks Alice, I said earnestly while running my hand through my soft hair. I am a genius, aren't I? Well, I'm not done yet, she giggled while dragging me back to my room. So I'm done with your room, I just need to put new sheets on your bed. Your hair looks fabulous. All that's left to do is get you into better clothes, she explained while looked down at my suspenders and plaid shoes. I don't really have other clothes than these kinds of clothes, I said truthfully while fidgeting with my suspenders. That's perfectly okay, because we're going shopping, she practically yelled cheerfully, while clapping her hands. I scowled. Knowing Alice, shopping with her will be hell. Gosh, we really did shop until we dropped, Alice said exhaustedly while walking back into the house. I was the one had to hold all the bags. I complained while dropping all the shopping bags on the ground and then flopped tiredly onto the couch. Well, they're your clothes, she said while examining her cuticles. The whole shopping thing with Alice wasn't as mad as I thought it would be. We went to a lot of stores which I have never been to. Stores like Gap, French Connection, Armani Exchange, Banana Republic, H&M, and many other stores which I did not know of until today. Are we done yet? I asked in a complaining voice. Not yet, we have a couple of more things to do to you, she replied while looking through the shopping bags. She picked up a pair of jeans and a plain white buttoned shirt. She threw them at me from across the room. Here, try these on, she commanded. I got up slowly off the couch with the clothes in my hands to my room. After I got dressed I didn't even bother to look in the mirror, afraid of what I might see. I dragged my feet into the living room where Alice was sitting on the couch impatiently. She got up slowly, never taking her eyes off me. Whoa, I am such a genius, she squealed while hopping up and down. I grinned. Yes, she was an evil little genius. Thank you, Alice, I really appreciate all you did for me, giving her the hint that I wanted her to leave. Don't you want to see yourself in the mirror? She asked. I shrugged, too petrified of what I might see when I looked in the mirror. I guess, I said in a bored tone. Alice glared at me skeptically. Well, before you go look, there is one more thing I need to do. She then walked up to me. She slowly took off my oversized glasses with shaky hands. There, she whispered, her eyes appraising me. We are finished, she said in a triumphant voice. Shaking lightly, I started walking slowly to my bedroom with Alice following closely behind. When I reached my room, which looked completely different from the way it looked this morning. The bed sheets were plain black, my walls were bare. The glow in the dark stars on the ceiling was not there anymore. Everything was just so not me. When I reached the mirror, I took a very deep breath before looking at my reflection. There I was, even though that guy didn't even look like me. My hair was messy and had that bad boy look to it. My emerald eyes seemed brighter without the glasses hovering over them. Without the glasses my face looked more angular. Alice was right. I did look like a model. The white shirt that I wore made my chest look more muscular and my arms more toned. I stared at myself astonished, still not believing the man I was looking at was me. Pretty spectacular, huh? She asked, grinning widely. I nodded, too speechless to coherent anything. Alice, you're agonious, I said loudly and really meaning it this time. I know, she joked while giggling. Well, I have to jet. Remember to wear your contacts tomorrow and don't brush your hair and wear the clothes we bought. Okay, she asked. Okay, tomorrow during school, we will see how the girls react toward you, she giggled uncontrollably. I blushed furiously. Do you really think they would? She nodded, still smirking. I sighed in stress, not really prepared for tomorrow. Don't worry, Edward, what's the worst that can happen? A mob of girls attacking you, she joked. We exchanged nervous glances, afraid that might actually happen. It won't happen, she said in a panicked voice. I nodded, agreeing with her. Hopefully, I muttered. The only person I wanted to attack me was Bella. Well, I should go. My work here is done, she smiled, glancing at me one last time. Thank you so much, Alice, I said sincerely while giving her a friendly hug. She grinned. I guess tomorrow we will see if my project worked, she said. She then left, satisfied with her work. My stomach fluttered anxiously. I wonder how Bella will react when she sees me like this. Will she like me even more? Will she get jealous when she sees other girls checking me out like how Alice predicted? I guess I'll find out tomorrow. Are you positive you will be excellent taking walks to homeroom by yourself? Alice requested, involved. I sighed. Yes, Alice, I can be perfectly okay. It became almost the 100th time I confided her this morning. Alice had some bizarre theory that while I strolled to first duration that I would get ambushed by dazzled women. I alternatively concept that become a group of hooey. Simply making sure, she muttered at the same time as searching across the parking zone to see if all people turned into round. She took a pair steps in the direction of me. Bear in mind to watch out, okay? I guess quite a few people can be asking you in case you are a new pupil, she said in a hushed voice so that no one heard. I chuckled. I doubt it, I mumbled, wondering how ridiculous that sounded. I don't, she growled, trying to sound strict, however her eyes held humor. I appeared her straight in the eye. Alice, I'm a big boy, you need to prevent disturbing. I can be best, I assured her comfortingly. She smiled genuinely. Okay, properly luck. She patted my arm after which left me status alone within the parking zone. I took a completely deep breath earlier than heading in the direction of magnificence. As I got in the college there had been many people capturing glares at me. I all of a sudden have become simply self-aware. More than one ladies speaking via their lockers started out grinning after they saw me. They all whispered to every different secretly. I'm wondering what they had been laughing about. Many jocks stopped snickering with their friends to give me nasty glares. Why were they being so mean to me? Maybe Alice turned into right. I abruptly prevent strolling and my grip on my backpack tightened. Right in front of me became Bella speaking to Angela. She did not see me, thank gosh. I absolutely forgot all approximately the people observing me and whirled round, walking down the hall away from Bella. I looked like an entire fool. By the point I reached the quit of the college I used to be panting. I leaned against a locker and closed my eyes. I had no idea why I had just completed what I did. Bella didn't see me, that became for certain. I wasn't equipped for Bella to look me, just yet. We had have a look at hall together, so she could manifestly see me these days. What is going to Bella say whilst she sees me? Will she assume I am 8504 CA0E3FB5BFCDBDF1E8263F0C30EF now? Will she be displeased? 1,000,000 questions popped into my head abruptly. Oh my French toast, Edward, a deep astonished voice stated. My eyes shot open and saw Emmett's status in front of me, his eyes wide with disbelief, he regarded so surprised. I stiffened from his gaze. He choked out, "Is that you?" I nodded, amazed that he might ask a silly query like that. I caught my palms in my new jean wallet nervously. Yes, Alice Brandon gave me this harmless makeover. She idea I'd look first rate, so I permit her to it. I babbled nervously. He becomes still stunned. You appearance. He attempted to locate the right phrase to explain it, distinctive. I realize, I agreed. Emmett composed himself and then sighed. Why did you do it? What do you mean? I croaked. Do not you understand what will occur? You will exchange into a person else. With your appears why you will be a distinct person now, he stuttered hesitantly. He seemed so pained by using my new photo. Emmett, don't worry. I am nonetheless the identical guy that I used to be the previous day morning, I confident him. He failed to reply right away. He simply glared at me for a minute. Anything you assert, he whispered dubiously. I stared lower back at him awkwardly. He then grew to become away toward magnificence, leaving me within the empty hallway, all by myself. Why did he assume that I'd change into a person one of a kind? A person who wasn't me, that could in no way alternate. I will nonetheless be the same man, a makeover can't trade me. I will still be the nerdy Edward Cullen proper. As I sat down at some stage in first period, all my classmates have been silent and capturing facet glances at me. They tried not to show that they were staring. However, in the nook of my eye I saw them whispering to their friends about my modern picture. Maximum of the women looked at me from head to toe. They looked dazzled by my look, just how Alice expected. I was dumbfounded. Mr. Cullen, is which you? Mr. Basso, my English instructor, asked me skeptically. Yes, I replied warily. He nodded. You cleaned up nicely. He then went again to writing on the chalkboard. Even my English instructor observed my appearance better. I heard multiple girls within the return of the schoolroom chortle. I grew to become around to look what they were chuckling at. When they noticed that I used to be facing them, they waved eagerly. I waved again awkwardly and then grew to become round to stand the instructor. Had been they flirting with me? No girls ever flirt with me. Nicely, that was bizarre. The rest the day become like homeroom, girls flirting with me and that I blushed. Jocks scowled at me, which made me scared. I'd see Bella at some point of examen corridor. The notion made my stomach drop. Even as on foot to my subsequent class, one noticed Lauren along with her gang chatting quietly. I tried my first rate to avert them. I failed miserably. So Edward Cullen got a makeover. What a wonder, Lauren stated nonchalantly. I ended walking, useless on my tracks. I failed to flip round to stand her. I just stood there. Did your fairy godmother ultimately come? Ashley asked bitterly. I flinched from her harsh remark. All of Lauren's friends giggled loudly, which include Lauren. I slowly turned round to face them. If I ran now I would simply seem like a total coward. Lauren walked slowly toward me. What caught me with the aid of Marvel became that she was so near me that we were almost touching. This is random. She seemed up at me with a smirk plastered on her face. So Eddie, there may be a celebration at my house after the soccer game on Friday. You should absolutely come, she whispered, seeking to sound seductive. Whoa, wherein did that come from? 1 minute she is insulting me, the next second she is looking me to come to certainly one of her events. Wow, this makeover certain made a distinction. Excuse me, why would I go to your birthday party? I requested bitterly. 24 hours ago you wouldn't were invited, however matters change, she snapped with a bit of luck. My eyebrows shot up. How dare she say that to me? And what if I don't want to visit considered one of your homosexual ass events? I shrugged frivolously. I'd alternatively be at home gambling very last minute than visit one in every of your events, I barked. She snorted. Who rent? All people loves my parties, she disagreed sternly. Get it through your brainless head, Lauren. I will by no means pass. Duration, I stated harshly, searching her immediately within the eyes. Whoa, wherein did all that self-assurance come from? She scowled, however I could tell she became harm. She then stomped away together with her clique strolling in the back of her. For the first time ever I truly talked again to Lauren. I ought to experience the massive grin spreading on my face. And all the butterflies in my stomach seemed to vanish. I may want to get used to this. So did Bella see you already? Emmett requested awkwardly at some point of observed corridor. Emmett turned into nevertheless acting ordinary with me, however as a minimum he becomes speak me to me. No, I murmured even as doodling in my pocketbook. Bella turned into typically a few minutes past due to examine corridor, so I wasn't worried. I don't know if you have noticed an awful lot, however plenty of ladies are checking you out, he whispered hesitantly. I smirked broadly. I've observed. All the girls who were checking me out these days held no impact on me, the best girl I cared about was Bella. And any minute now she will walk through the door. Tanya is coming over right here, oh joy, he stated satirically. I chuckled. Hi there, Edward, Tanya greeted even as taking the seat next to mine. Tanya has never been suggest to me the manner Lauren was, but she never talked to me either. She just completely omitted me, as though I did not exist. I wasn't too taken aback to hear she turned into speaking to me now though. A whole lot of girls today came up to talk to me. Hi Tanya, I said politely. I love your new appearance, she complimented at the same time as flipping her blonde hair to her side. Thank you, I stated at the same time as going return to doodling. She seemed angry that I did not say plenty. She probably expected me to be throughout her, which was now not a marvel for Tanya to assume. Every guy at this faculty swoons over her. She changed into in all likelihood even extra popular than Lauren. Emmett's jaw dropped from my response in the direction of her, he changed into as taken aback as she became. Tanya smiled bitterly then left our table to take a seat together with her friends. Emmett's eyes have been wide with shock. Edward, that was Tanya complimenting you, and you have been so serene, he said astonished. I shrugged, thinking it become no massive deal. Then all of the surprising, Bella walked through the door with Alice. I immediately stiffened once I noticed her stroll in. She did not see me, she turned into too busy talking to Alice. When Alice saw me she winked. That jogged my memory. I needed to thank Alice yet again for giving me the makeover. Once I communicate to Bella it will be exclusive from how I talk to the opposite girls. I need to make a superb impact after I speak to her. Ultimately she will be able to see me as someone cool, aside from the dorky youngster I was 24 hours ago. Throughout the relaxation of Observe Hall Bella failed to seem to notice me, which become perfectly excellent with me. I would talk to her after class. I told Emmett I might speak to him later while the bell rang. I right away stalked off the school room to the hallway where Bella changed into. Bella, I referred to as after her. She whirled around to see who become calling after her. Many emotion performed on her face. She turned into first stunned and then skeptical and then serene. Whoa, you look distinct, Edward, her stunning voice stated. Her sparkly brown eyes had been huge. I shrugged. A change cannot hurt, I stated. Oh, and speak me of exchange, take into account when you told me to tell you when Lauren became being an ass to me. I asked at the same time as smirking. She nodded, her eyes never left mine. Why yeah, she stuttered shyly. Properly, I don't need to worry about her teasing me anymore, I smirked even wider. Absolutely. And why is that? She asked skeptically. I took a couple of steps towards her. We were a centimeter far away from touching. I looked her directly in the eye. Let's simply say I worked things out, I breathed. She blinked once, seeming dazzled by using me. I simply noticed that she wasn't breathing, and then she took a very deep breath. I stepped again to provide her some area. It turned into obvious that she was awestruck. Oh, okay, she blushed uncontrollably. Sure, I have her precisely wherein I need her. I just made Bella Swan practically swoon over me. This just continues on getting better and better. First I diss Lauren, and women like Tanya are speak me to me. And now Bella, my dream woman, would possibly certainly suppose I'm cool. I will communicate to you later. It appeared like a question. Sure, she stuttered. I then whirled round heading to Elegance. I couldn't help but smirk all of the way there. Quite quickly she may be ingesting out of the palm of my hand. I ponder in which all this self-belief came from. I cannot believe you're prevailing, I stated obnoxiously to Emmett. He changed into beating me inside the Battle Deliver Galaxy game. I constantly beat him without difficulty with those video games, and for some extraordinary purpose he was kicking my butt. I know, it's so weird. Have you forgotten the way to play or something? He requested suspiciously, his eyebrows scrunched, but his eyes in no way left the TV display screen as we performed. No, at least I don't assume so, I mumbled, looking away from the television display screen. This whole week I have been distracted. Bella and that I kept speaking increasingly in recent times. Our conversations never appeared to have an end, and that I guess she turned into finally my buddy. I found out that Bella likes a whole lot of the same things I have in hobby and is properly, but it would be even extra incredible if we have been greater than buddies. I positioned my PS2 controller on the floor and sighed in frustration. What's wrong? Emmett asked careworn, sooner or later searching away from the sport to peer why I had stopped gambling. I do not feel like playing anymore, I murmured whilst getting up to stretch my stiff frame from gambling video games for an hour straight. Oh, he mumbled, searching hurt. I suppose I must pass now, I stated awkwardly, no longer meeting his gaze. He did not respond, he simply surely nodded glumly. I then awkwardly left his huge room complete of Very Last Delusion and Naruto posters that protected his wall. I felt a bang in my heart from remembering how much I ignored my Megastar Wars posters that Alice made me take down. Without them, my room felt naked. But I should not be concerned about that right now. My courting with Emmett become happening hill. What Emmett stated the alternative day, approximately me going to alternate right into a different guy, turned into ridicules. I would constantly be the equal man, and I was sort of peeved that he could definitely assume that. I wasn't the sort of man to keep grudges, however it still harmed me approximately what he stated. This past week we were best hanging out collectively. However, I continually felt like Emmett turned into a little jealous with the truth that I used to be getting so much attention. Women simply gawked over me, jocks envied me, and Bella changed into actually starting to warm up to me. For some weird motive, Emmett getting jealous over me made me sense advanced for as soon as in my life. And questioning this, I couldn't help the smug grin forming on my face as I left Emmett's residence. Do you apprehend? I asked Bella patiently. I leaned in the direction of her, gazing her anxiously, looking forward to her reply. Sort of, she spoke back nonchalantly, nevertheless looking down into her chemistry notebook. Her perfect eyebrows had been scrunched collectively. I should quiz her one extra time. So, what does NE stand for? I requested anxiously. Neon, she blurted and smiled beautifully. I backed the smile. See, the periodic desk is not that tough, I stated, chuckling softly. Thank you, Edward, she smiled even wider, making my coronary heart skip a beat. She appeared over my shoulder to wherein I normally take a seat with Emmett at the empty desk. Her brown eyebrows scrunched once more with confusion. Where is your friend Emmett? Do not you typically take a seat with him? She asked skeptically. I shrugged casually. Yeah, but he has an orthodontist appointment these days. So he couldn't come to school, I defined. She nodded and then opened her mouth to say something but shut it fast when Alice approached our table. Hi Edward and Bella, she greeted enthusiastically, sitting down subsequent to Bella. When Alice stated, Edward and Bella, together inside the equal sentence, it made my coronary heart accelerate unexpectedly. Hello, Bella, and that I said at the identical time. For some atypical reason Bella regarded upset that Alice sat at our desk, however she tried to make it appear like she wasn't. So Edward, I used to be questioning that perhaps we have to throw a party at your own home this Friday, Alice cautioned. A celebration, I echoed nervously, fidgeting with my fingers. The closing time I had a celebration become whilst I used to be 14, I wanted to throw a Halloween celebration for my classmates. And it failed to flip out, so properly only 2 people arrived, Emmett and Bella. After that party of 3 I never wanted to have any other one once more. However, I wager this time would exclusive, due to the fact that I am honestly famous now. Sure, a party, however only if it's good enough with you, she requested me. They both waited patiently for my solution. Yeah, sure, we will have a party at my house, I in the end responded. Optimistically, it might not be like my Halloween party. Alice's eyes beamed with pleasure. Super. I will begin making plans, she said enthusiastically, after which left the table, leaving Bella and me alone on the table. Alice sure is something, Bella muttered even as doodling on her binder. I chuckled. Yeah, she is, I agreed. I faked a smile, however inside I used to be a fearful destroy. Who could come to my party? Will Bella enjoy herself? I guess I'd discover on Friday. Part of me failed to want to have this party, but any other part changed into death for it to occur. It would give Bella and that I extra time to hang out and speak. Just thinking about that made my belly do this same roller coaster issue it continually does when I think about Bella. After faculty I decided to play my piano to clean my mind. Typically whilst I am pressured or cannot make up my mind, playing allows me to decide. I nevertheless didn't know if I need to have this birthday celebration or not. Even as strumming my palms at the piano keys my cell phone commenced ringing. I straight away stopped gambling to go answer it. Howdy. I greeted once I responded it. Hi Edward, Emmett greeted cheerfully. I frowned. Oh, hello Emmett, I stated dryly. To be sincere, I was a piece disenchanted that it became Emmett calling, however if it turned into Bella then that would be an entire distinctive story. Wager what is on Friday? He requested eagerly. Shoot. Did he already recognize about the party? Was he even invited? I don't know, I lied. I can't trust you forgot, he chuckled. I waited impatiently for him to tell me. My trumpet recital, he finally stated. I grimaced. Crap, I completely forgot about that. Multiple days in the past Emmett invited me to his trumpet recital. It became manifestly a huge issue to him. However, I forgot all approximately that. It become a distracting week for me. I cursed incoherently. Become all I stated. There was a quick silence. You're coming right? He asked skeptically. I stated again. I need to ask my mommy, I imply mom, and I'll name you returned, I promised nervously. Okay, he mumbled warily. I then snapped my cell phone shut. What turned into I think to do now? I already informed Alice that we ought to throw a party at my house, but I told Emmett I'd go to his trumpet issue. I ran my hand via my messy hair. This became so stressful. But if I advised Alice that I already promised Emmett, I recognized for sure she would understand. However, what if I did not need to cancel it? Perhaps on the party something would occur with Bella and I, as a minimum that is what I wanted. I wanted something to occur at the birthday party between Bella and me. A part of me desired to go to each, but I on the whole just wanted the celebration. Emmett could be devastated if I did not cross though. He changed into so excited for Friday and he could count on his best friend to be there cheering him on. I sighed in frustration. I wanted to hit something badly. I failed to recognize what to select, but I needed to do it quick. Alice, I yelled after her in the empty hallway. She unexpectedly whirled around. When she saw me she smiled warmly. Hi Edward, she greeted kindly. Hi, I greeted shortly. I continued. I was just wondering if we could reschedule the pea party to some other day. I asked nervously, waiting for her answer. Maybe if we rescheduled the party to next week or some other day, I could go to Emmett's trumpet recital. Alice frowned. You're telling me this now? She practically yelled. I flinched. Well, we just decided to have it yesterday, I said, panicking. So, I already called everyone. The party is this Friday, she explained sternly. Well, can't you just tell everyone that it's cancelled? I asked hysterically. I don't know, she said warily. I frowned. Edward, it's not as easy as it sounds. I invited a lot of people. What did she mean it's not as easy as it sounds? What's so hard about informing everyone the party was cancelled? I snapped. I didn't mean to be rude, but I just couldn't miss Emmett's recital. She ignored my question. Are you sure you want to cancel it? It really would have been a great party, she prompted. I stiffened. More than anything I wanted to have this party, but I knew it would be wrong to ditch Emmett's recital. I have always been the guy who would stick by my friend's side. I would never think twice about going to Emmett's recital. But this time was different. I was different. I don't know, Alice, I said hesitantly, still unsure of what I was going to do. This party would have been a very important night for Bella and me. I knew for sure that something would have happened. Maybe Bella would actually dance with me or something. Maybe we would constantly talk the whole night, or maybe even more. So, Alice interrupted my deep thinking. Do you want me to cancel it or not? She asked nonchalantly. It took me a while to actually answer. I still stared into her eyes, but I knew my answer wasn't in there. No, I choked out slowly. I don't want you to cancel it. Crap, what have I gotten myself into? I ran my pale hand through my untidy hair, which I was never able to do before my makeover since I always applied hair gel. Ever since I talked to Alice with morning, I have been cursing myself constantly. Yet I couldn't bring myself to go tell Alice to cancel the party. I needed to cancel that damn party, but for some peculiar reason my feet wouldn't move. Edward, are you okay? Asked a familiar, beautiful voice. My eyes shot open, longing to see her face. Bella stood in front of me as I leaned against a locker. She looked concerned. Hi Bella, I breathed. Saying her name out loud made my heart accelerate. I forgot to answer her question since her appearance dazzled me, causing me to be speechless. I'm fine, I answered weakly. I'm just a little ill. Ill didn't even cover it. She nodded understandingly. It was then silent between us, neither of us not knowing what to say. Her arms tightened nervously around the books she was carrying. She suddenly became shy, causing me to flush to see her being so shy around me. So, she said nervously, are you excited for your party this Friday? She is so adorable when she's shy. A whole new kind of guilt washed over me again, this one much stronger. With all this guilt I couldn't bring myself to cancel the party. This whole situation was making me a horrible person and a bad friend, but I still didn't do anything to solve it. Yeah, I replied calmly. Good, she said approvingly. I'll see you there, she said, and then started walking away to class. I just stood there, staring at her as she left gracefully. I then realized I was at the point of no return. I already told Bella I was going, therefore I couldn't possibly not go. That would just displease her. I would have to call Emmett tonight. I had to make up some lie, any lie. He would never know, right? I paced around my plain room stressfully, with my hand clenching my phone. I've been pacing back and forth for about 10 minutes straight. I was determined to call Emmett and make an excuse not to go to his recital. Well, it wasn't really an excuse, more like a lie. I dialed his number into my phone, punching in the numbers harder than necessary. It rang 2 times before he finally answered. Hello, he answered cheerfully. Knowing I was going to ruin his good mood made me feel even guiltier, if that was possible. Hey Emmett, I greeted innocently, preparing to hear the worst from him. Oh, hey Edward, I'm so glad you called. Guess what my mom got me for my recital on Friday? I might as well guess. I don't know, a Naruto DVD. I guessed. Emmett absolutely adored Naruto. No, I have all of the DVDs, remember? He sounded shocked but chuckled. Well anyway, she got me a clip-on tie. Isn't that cool? It's blue too, he said enthusiastically. Oh, that's great, I said in a bored tone. Speaking of your recital, I have some bad news, I lied. Oh, he said sadly. I can't make it, I have to go sock shopping with my mom. I made up that lie right off the bat. And it wasn't a bad lie either. I always go sock shopping with my mom. Sock shopping, he echoed disbelievingly. Why yeah, I stuttered anxiously. You have to go Friday. Can't you go any other? Sorry, no, I interrupted sternly. I tried to sound as polite as possible, but failed miserably. I really shouldn't have been so rude to him, he didn't deserve this. I knew for a fact he didn't deserve this, but yet I didn't do anything about it. Oh. He sounded really hurt. Yeah, I'm sorry buddy, I apologized, honestly meaning it. It's okay. There's always next time, he assured, still sounding hurt. Yeah, next time, I promised. Bye Emmett, good luck on Friday. Thanks, bye, he said glumly. I snapped my phone shut, hating myself for just doing that. Emmett McCarty. The whole audience was crowded. Every seat was taken and the show would soon start. I saw my parents sitting right in front, ready to cheer me on. I smiled warmly seeing them sitting there right in front of us trumpet players on stage. At least my parents showed up tonight, unlike my best friend. Edward always attended my chess competitions and my trumpet recitals, but he had to go sock shopping, which is truly insane, even for us nerds. Yet I knew Edward wasn't telling me something. Lately these days he has been keeping himself from me. Ever since Alice Brandon gave him that makeover he has been different. And I couldn't help but feel like I've lost my best friend. Excuse me, Mrs. Banner, can I use the little boy's room? I asked my trumpet teacher politely. Sure Emmett, just remember to be back in 10 minutes. The show will start soon, she said in her high-pitched voice. I nodded and then carefully placed my trumpet back in its case. While getting off stage and heading toward the washroom I bumped into someone accidentally. Ouch, she muttered as she hit the cold ground. I'm so sorry, I apologized quickly while helping her back up. I wasn't that surprised to see her fall down when we bumped. Since I was so big and bulky that happened a lot. It's fine, she said while getting up and straightening out her blonde beautiful hair. When she got up from the ground I saw her face more distinctively. Gosh, she was gorgeous. She had long blonde hair and bright blue eyes that I could practically swim in. Hi, I greeted stupidly. I didn't know what else to say to her, I just wanted to hear her voice again. I straightened out my glasses shyly. Hi, she smiled warmly, making me weak in the knees. You're Emmett McCarty, right? She asked skeptically, still smiling. I grinned widely. How did this stunning girl know me? Why yes, I replied. I could barely hear myself because of my loud heart beating rapidly. I'm Jasper's sister, Rosalie, she said. I finally understood how she knew me. Jasper was a trumpet player as well, we were really close friends. How did I not know she was Jasper's sister? They looked exactly alike. Oh, yeah, it's nice to meet you, I said confidently. Jasper always tells me how funny you are, she said, causing me to blush. Jasper talks about me with her. I didn't reply, I just kept smiling at her, intoxicated by her presence. So, she continued, what are you doing after the recital? She asked. I said nervously. Nothing, why? Jasper and I are going to my friend's party. You should come too. She invited. Well, I guess if Jasper was going it wouldn't be so bad. Are you sure I'm allowed to go? I don't even know the person, I asked skeptically. Yeah, it's fine. My friend Alice is throwing it, she assured. Alice Brandon, I thought. No, it couldn't be her. How could Rosalie know Alice? She didn't go to our school. I still think I should go though. Since Edward ditched my recital I deserve to have a little fun. Sure, I grinned. I can already tell that tonight will be a blast. Tonight is going to be a blast, Alice squealed eagerly. I nodded in agreement. She had absolutely no idea of how excited I was tonight. I tried to block out all of the images of Emmett's recital with me not in the audience. All my thoughts were of Bella. Being with her tonight will be great. I can already tell. So what time is everyone arriving anyway? I asked nonchalantly while smoothing out my blue buttoned-up shirt. 7, she replied, examining herself in the mirror. She then suddenly turned around sharply and examined me from head to toe, with a puzzled look upon her face. You need axe, she mumbled almost incoherently. What's axe? I asked curiously. Did she mean axe as in what lumberjacks use? She started giggling hysterically. Good one Edward, she said, still laughing. I narrowed my eyes at her confusingly. I honestly didn't know what axe was. And apparently I was probably the only one in the world who didn't. Since she was taking what I asked as a joke. I'm serious, I mumbled. I couldn't help but grin. She frowned and stared at me dubiously. Are you serious? She asked a question I already answered. I nodded sheepishly. Haven't you ever seen those Axe cologne commercials? Oh, so it was cologne she was talking about. I pursed my lips. I don't really watch a lot of television, I replied honestly. She scoffed and then took my hand, dragging me downstairs. Wow, you are a dork, she said while laughing. I couldn't help but laugh with her. I barely knew anyone at my own party. The only few people I knew were Alice and no one else. Bella wasn't here yet, which made me bored out of my mind. Loud music filled the whole house, causing my sensitive ears to hurt. My house was still packed with foreign people while I walked into the kitchen to find Esme drinking out of a glass of water. Mom, what are you doing down here? I yelled at her over the booming music. She saw me and smiled sweetly. Oh, Edward, you look so grown up, she exclaimed, her eyes beamed with joy. I didn't thank her. You're supposed to be upstairs. What if my friends see you? I asked through my gritted teeth. It would be so embarrassing if someone saw my mother at my party. I would just go back to being the dorky kid again. And I would do anything in my power for that not to happen again. She snorted. I hardly call those people your friends, Edward, she said. I grimaced even though I knew she was right. Ever since my new look, my mom didn't treat me different. But I didn't treat her with as much respect as I used to. I knew I wasn't being so polite to her, but I couldn't stop. Just go back upstairs before anyone sees you, I said harshly while pointing up the stairs with my index finger. Esme smiled sadly at me and her green eyes bored into mine. I felt she was trying to say something to me through her eyes, but I looked away. Just don't change, Edward, she mumbled while heading upstairs. First Emmett and now her, great. I left the kitchen and headed toward the living room, which was where everyone was dancing and chatting. I instantly stopped dead in my tracks when I saw Bella talking to Alice from afar. I immediately felt my palms begin to sweat and I could almost hear my thumping heart beat over the loud music. I wonder if this was ever going to change the way I feel when I see her. And then I thought, why not go have small talk with her? You are a lot hotter and cooler now, go for it. I chuckled at that corny thought. I grinned formed on my face, thinking of this. I went straight up to her where she was talking to Alice. I passed through the crowd of people, my eyes still fixed on Bella. Hey Bella, I smiled while greeting her, trying to sound cool. Her brown eyes twinkled when she saw me. Oh, hi Edward, she returned the smile. She seemed pleased to see me. We didn't stop smiling after that, we just stared at each other like idiots. Alice noticed this. She looked at Bella, then me, and then back to Bella again. I almost forgot she was standing there right next to Bella. Her eyes started beaming with excitement. She smirked widely and then discreetly left without breaking our trance. So are you having fun? I asked Bella skeptically. I wanted to start small talk with her. Maybe I could get to know her better. Well, I just got here. But I can already tell that I will have a lot of fun with the guy I'm looking at right now, she said. She smiled a little too wide and her eyes seemed to gleam a little too bright. My heart did that floppy thing again. Was she flirting with me? It finally dawned on me that she was indeed being flirtatious with me. Score. I felt more confident now. She just stood there, looking so pretty. I needed to do something. I didn't want to waste the time we had together on just drooling over her. A slow song started playing. This would be a perfect time to ask her to dance. Then I did something I would have never done before my makeover. I asked nervously, Bella, would you, like to dance? I sounded like a pathetic 10-year-old. She grinned wider, if that was possible. Sure. She sounded so serene and calm, unlike me. I was practically hyperventilating when we got to the dance floor. I was hesitant of where I should place my hands, around her waist. Or one hand on her hip and the other holding her hand. Dang it. Where was Alice when you needed her? I gulped. Bella just simply chuckled and unexpectedly grabbed my hands and wrapped it around her tiny waist. My backstabbing heart hyperventilated just by that simple touch. We then swayed to the slow music, as if it was the most natural thing for us to do. It came to me easy. I wasn't really a clumsy person. With my hands wrapped around her waist, she placed her head gently on my chest. Wow, she was really short, compared to me of course. But, it made me dizzy to feel how close Bella was to me. I could practically smell the strawberry-scented shampoo coming off from her brown hair. And plus, she was so warm. I could feel her warmth radiating off her pale skin onto mine. She was like an electric blanket. Oh gosh, I could be in this position forever. Seeming to last for only 2 seconds, the song ending. I tried not to look too disappointed. And yet even though the song ending, I still had my hands encircled around Bella's waist. I could seem to remove them. They were like glued there. I chuckled nervously as I realized Bella was waiting patiently with a small smile across her pink and luscious lips. She giggled too when I placed my hand on either side of me. I immediately missed her touch and her warmth. She was like a little teddy bear I never wanted to let go of. Like the time when I was 11 and all the bullies at school took my teddy bear, Mr. Fuzzy Bear. They ripped him to shreds. They thought I was too old to have a teddy bear at the age of 11. I thought it was a bunch of hooey. Esme and I just had a funeral in our backyard for Mr. Fuzzy Bear. He deserved a proper funeral. I will always miss that fat, cuddly toy. Well anyway, Bella was like that. My little teddy bear that I always loved to cuddle with. Even if this was the first time we held close to each other, I was instantly hooked. I'm thirsty. I think I'll get a Coke, Bella suggested, interrupting me from my daydreaming. I nodded while we left the dance floor and shoved gently through the crowd of people, but instantly stopped when I heard a familiar voice call out, "Edward." My stomach practically turned over. That voice was a little too familiar. What the French toast? Crap. There was only one person I knew who said French toast as a curse. Since his parents didn't let him swear. Emmett. I turned slowly around, and there he became. He regarded indignant. Indignant didn't even cowl it. His eyes were boiling with rage in the back of his oversized glasses. And his fingers had been clenched collectively, as though he became trying now not to harm me. He stared at me with such hate, I winced from his depth. Man, he turned into actually mad. However, how did he even get right here besides? Why become he even here? I failed to even see this coming. I thought I had it down. Emmett would not discover about this birthday celebration and that I would not experience responsible. It looks as if my plans failed to move as deliberate. Nobody seemed to be aware his slight outburst. The party nevertheless saved taking place, and the track became nonetheless louder than ever. Humans nevertheless danced fortunately, now not even knowing how extreme it became among Emmett and me. Bella was already inside the kitchen getting something to drink. I was going to comply with her, but for the reason that Emmett arrived I simply stopped. Have to I simply tell him the reality? Ought to I make up another lie? Or should I simply beg for forgiveness and get down on my knees? He did not allow me reflect on consideration on it any longer. Sock purchasing. He mimicked me from the opposite day after I advised him that unbelievable lie. He took a couple of steps toward me. How could you? I interrupted him fast. Let me provide an explanation for Emmett. Be rational, please, I pleaded. Deliver me one exact motive why I should be rational, he demanded harshly. Because you haven't let me give an explanation for yet, I responded flippantly. He appeared to compose himself, just a tiny bit. Cross on, he induced. I forgot you had your recital today and Alice already arranged this celebration to manifest, and Bella was coming and I thought I should lie my manner out of it. It's no longer that I failed to need to go to the recital or that I notion it wasn't essential, I breathed, hoping he believed what I used to be pronouncing. I endured, I just truly desired something to manifest between Bella and and this seemed like the correct time to do it, I explained truly. He failed to seem to agree with me though. I do not assume Bella would fall for a liar, Edward, Emmett hissed menacingly. I flinched at his harsh words. Why might he say something like that? How should he be so imply? Nicely. Wait a minute. I didn't something even worse to him. You're the one who usually told me to go for it with Bella. I snapped lower back sternly, pointing my finger at him. And so I did. You failed to have to hurt your best friend Edward. He sneered. Sure, I continually stated you have to take a risk with Bella, however that was earlier than. I stared at him, confused. Earlier than what? Earlier than you modified, he breathed, his eyes bored into mine. I sighed because I knew he become right. As a whole lot as I did not need to admit it, I was converting. I did not need to visit Emmett's recital, I used to be embarrassed to be round him. I dealt with my personal mom like crap. I used to be changing right earlier than my eyes. I stared down at my fort, ashamed of myself for hurting my only friend. I am hoping you have got fun tonight, Edward, he said, somber. He then whirled round and went through the crowd of people to get to the door to leave. And that I simply stood there, looking him go away. It became simply a part of me leaving, because I wasn't who I used to be. Perhaps it is a very good element that we are not pals anymore. Wherein is Bella? I asked Alice loudly over the blaring music. I assume she is within the kitchen, she replied, and then went back to speaking to a few blonde guy I have by no means seen earlier than. He looked very familiar, but I simply shrugged it off and went to head find Bella. I discovered Bella inside the kitchen, precisely had been Alice stated she turned into. Bella become talking to Angela and that they appeared to be joking approximately something. I tapped her at the shoulder. Regardless of that little contact, my coronary heart speeded up. Oh, shut up, you silly heart, I mentally scolded. She grew to become round and smiled whilst she saw me. Oh, hello Edward, she stated in her beautiful voice. Wherein did you pass? I simply had a friend prevent by means of, so I was simply speak me to him for a piece, I responded, which changed into genuine, even if Emmett changed into slightly my friend anymore. So, are you having fun but? She asked. Her brown electrified eyes penetrated into mine. Regrettably, I was now not. After the complete combat with Emmett, all I felt doing became sulking. Yeah. But I simply wanted to inform you that I suppose I will simply call it a night time, I stated hesitantly. Her face fell and she or he frowned. Oh, you are already tired. I chuckled faintly. Yeah, I had an extended day nowadays, I admitted. Which become genuine. I had college and the whole thing, okay, so maybe I used to be bluffing a piece. Simply after what just befell I felt guilty. I did not need to have amusing with Bella. After the way I hurt Emmett I failed to deserve anything. I simply felt like going to sleep and forgetting about everything. On Monday during Take a Look at Corridor I sat with Bella like I did the week before. Emmett did not arrive but, which made me curious. Emmett changed into usually the primary one in Observe Corridor, and for a few reason he become late. Even though I knew he failed to want to see me, I needed to see him. Maybe I may want to express regret to him or searching out a person. Bella asked skeptically. Maybe she knew in which Emmett become. Yeah, do in which Emmett is. She stared at me, at a loss for words. Yeah, he's right there. She pointed to the table in which Emmett and I generally sat together. All I saw there has been a man with curly brown hair carrying great, expensive-looking garments. I didn't see him everywhere. What turned into she talking approximately? I then found out I misunderstood. I did a double take. I used to be going to invite Bella, what she changed into speaking approximately, however then the guy at that desk regarded so oddly familiar. Oh my, it turned into Emmett at the table and he appearance nicely, unique. My jaw nearly fell to the ground. Emmett appeared very first class for a exchange. His broken oversized glasses had been off. He didn't wear disheveled clothes like how he normally does, so that you could see his ripped muscle tissues. It looked like he truly washed his hair too. After which all my astonishment went away. I was mad. Mad because now he might take my reputation. I are aware of it was a silly element to think about. However, it was still actual. Emmett will probably now try to compete against me. Due to the fact within the starting he become jealous of me. Due to the fact I used to be getting all of the eye and he wasn't. Because women honestly flirted with me. He envied me and in all likelihood hated me for being so much better searching than him. Not that I blamed him. Are you sure you understand this? I asked Bella again. She pursed her lips. I still don't understand the whole different phases of the moon stuff, she confessed sheepishly. Oh, I murmured, disappointed. That means she didn't learn anything from me, dang it. We were in study hall now for about 20 minutes already. I was trying to help Bella with astronomy, since she asked for my help. I literally yelped when she asked. She bit her lip, almost seductively. Maybe I need a tutor, she said it as if it was a question. She stared at me intensely. If I wasn't sitting down, I would have fallen since I was practically weak in the knees. Why was she staring at me like that anyway? Oh, she wanted me to be her tutor. A grin formed of my face. Maybe I could be your tutor. Help you with science, I suggested. I could already tell my face was as red as a tomato. She smirked widely and straightened up in her seat. Sure, she replied. Shall we say today after school at my house? My heart skipped a beat. If you like, I tried to sound indifferent while shrugging. Her eyes beamed with excitement. Great, she exclaimed enthusiastically. Oh my Obi-Wan Kenobi. I am going to Bella Swan's house. I am going to Bella Swan's house after school today. I repeated those words in my head like a maniac, it just seemed so unbelievable. It seemed like a dream come true for me, seriously. Ever since I've known Bella I wanted to just get to know her more and more. And now I was going to her house and maybe her bedroom. Oh stop it Edward, don't think such things, I scolded myself mentally. I looked down at the book I was reading, but not actually reading it. The blush crimson still on my face. What are you reading? Bella asked, ogling my book, Wuthering Heights. I stared at her curious expression, not sure if I wanted to tell her. She might think I'm a geek if she saw me reading some advanced book, other than the books people read in this school, like the Princess Diary books or something. But I thought since the book was right there, in front of her, I really couldn't lie. Wuthering Heights, I confessed sheepishly, the blush coming back on my face. Bella's brown eyes gleamed as her lips twitched in a huge smile, making me breathless. I have that book at home. It's one of my favorites, she said, still smiling beautifully. I stared at her, stunned. I knew Bella was intelligent but I never thought we would read the same books. I grinned goofily with her. I didn't say anything. I was speechless that we actually had something in common. I actually had something in common with this beautiful, flawless person. Even if she loved this book and I hated it. So, do you like it so far? She asked skeptically. I tilted my head nervously, not meeting her curious gaze. I started nervously. It's okay, I lied through my gritted teeth. She laughed quietly. So you didn't like it? I guess I'm just not into romances, I admitted. What do you not like about it? She asked, as if she was genuinely curious to what I had to say about this book. I didn't want to tell her that I thought it was cheesy. It's just not my kind of book, I said honestly, not wanting to get into detail of how I thought the book was so cheesy. There wasn't even any extraterrestrial or battleships in it. How lame was that? She giggled softly. It's okay. You don't have to tell me, she assured with a wicked smile plastered on her face. Thank gosh she dropped the subject. I sighed in relief. At least not yet, she said, grinning even wider. Gosh, she was so stubborn. And I loved it. Hello Edward, I heard a deep familiar sneer call out behind me. I sighed in frustration, not wanting to deal with Emmett at the moment. I turned around only to see a smug smile plastered on his clean-shaved face. It has only been a day since Emmett had that surprising new look. I was sure Alice didn't give it to him. She would have for sure told me. I have been trying to avoid him all day yesterday and today. Many girls practically swooned when they saw him, not that I cared or anything. Girls actually had the guts to go up to me and be all flirtatious when I got my new look. They were probably too scared to go anywhere near Emmett, since he was so big and all. They would just ogle from afar. What do you want, Emmett? I sneered harshly. Nothing. I have everything a guy could ask for, he said with joking tone. I narrowed my eyes at him. What? He took a couple of steps toward me, his hands in his front jean pockets. Well, you see, after your little party on Friday, I didn't just give you a slap on the face, he joked harshly. I don't get it, I blurted out, more confused than ever. Who do you think did all this to me, Edward? He asked, pointing at his wardrobe. I patiently waited for him to continue. He sighed. Do you remember Jasper Hale? I nodded faintly. I've only met him once. He was in the same band as Emmett. He came to the movies with Emmett and me when we went to go to the last Star Wars movie. He was a Star Wars fan like us, but I didn't know he was good friends with him. What about him? He has a sister named Rosalie, and I'm glad I wasn't invited to your lousy party because I spent the rest of the night hanging out with her. And now you're looking at a guy with a girlfriend, he explained proudly. I stared at him in utter shock, my mouth hanging wide open. Emmett McCarty had a girlfriend. That fact just didn't seem to comprehend. My former best friend had a girlfriend. And I didn't. I scoffed. I highly doubt that. What did you do for her to talk to you? Stalk her. I laughed a short laugh. I could care less if you believe me or not, Edward. I just wanted you to know that even though I'm like this now, Rosalie liked me before my new look, he hissed. What is that supposed to mean? I snapped back menacingly. Like you don't know. It's sort of obvious Bella only likes you for your new look. I felt like he just punched me in the stomach. How could he lie like that so easily and not hesitant? Did he even realize how much that hurt? That's not true. I spatted through my gritted teeth. He chuckled darkly and started to walk past me in the empty hallway. Think whatever you want, Edward, he sneered and then left without saying another word. I looked down at the white floor, moisture starting to build up in the eyes, blurring my vision. How could my friend say something like that about the girl I love? He didn't know anything. I know for a fact that Bella didn't just start liking after I had my makeover. We read the same books, and we've known each other for so many years. He had to be wrong, right? I would have to prove to him he was wrong, even if I wasn't so sure myself. Ding, dong. I could barely hear the doorbell once I rang it due to the fact that my heart changed into thumping so loudly. After school, once I had that display down with Emmett, I needed to visit Bella's residence to assist her with astronomy. I used my dad's Volvo to get me to her residence. Despite the fact that Bella gave me instructions to where she lived, I already knew the way to get there. I used MapQuest a couple of years ago to see in which she lived. Bella opened the door 20 seconds once I rang it. She smiled warmly whilst she saw me. "Hello, are available in," she said at the same time as going returned in her house. I again the smile and walked in after her. "Your property is really satisfactory," I commented civilly, taking inside the homely residing room and the spacious kitchen handiest yards away from it. She mumbled a, "Thanks," she regarded fearful for a few bizarre purpose. I figured we might study inside the dwelling room or even the kitchen, so it stuck me off guard while she asked, "Do you mind if we look at in my room?" I thought I used to be going to melt proper there and then. Yes, sure. I stuttered nervously, questioning why we couldn't simply examine in the residing room or kitchen. Bella regarded to peer how confused I was. She defined, "It smells honestly awful in the kitchen and my dad usually watches TV within the living room." My eyes narrowed. I just nodded, nevertheless confused. I nevertheless could not see why we had to observe in her room. And that I do not think the kitchen actually stunk. It seemed plenty like she changed into lying for some atypical purpose. I accompanied her upstairs to her bedroom, which had blue wallpaper and with a twin-sized mattress in the corner. I located my backpack on the ground, waiting for her to say something. She just stared at me. She regarded astonished for a few reason, as if I was approximately to vanish into skinny air or something. She simply seemed absolutely surprised to see me in her room. I tore my gaze from hers and my eyes roamed round her vivid room. I noticed on her desk next to the laptop something very acquainted. I walked more than one steps in the direction of her desk to get a better view of the photograph in the body. My eyes widened with shock as I noticed within the body an image of Bella and me at my Halloween celebration whilst we had been in 5th grade. Bella turned into in her cowgirl gown and I was in my Darth Vader uniform. We were each grinning, despite the fact that the image handiest confirmed my Darth Vader mask and now not my face. I don't forget grinning during that whole celebration because Bella got here, even if it changed into a celebration of 3. I used to be still ecstatic that she turned into with me. Is that us?" I requested, astonished. I was amazed I could even communicate. She came up subsequent to me, gazing on the picture. "Yep, I have usually had that there," she admitted. "That become one of the fine parties I've ever been to." I checked out her heartily, touched via what she simply stated, "But simplest humans got here." "You and Emmett," I reminded, nevertheless stunned. She shrugged. "I understand, but that is what made it even higher. If there was a whole lot of human beings there, then I would not have spent a lot time with you." She trailed off even as staring at the photograph pleasantly. I thought my coronary heart was going to burst from beating so much, and now I understand that what Emmett said about her best liking me best for my looks was an entire lot of hooey. I have to have regarded that he didn't recognize what he become talking approximately. Bella and I've constantly known each different and I wasn't the handiest one that favored her in that manner. Maybe she appreciated me in that manner too when you consider that she did have a picture people on her table in her bedroom, and she or he changed into so protecting of me whilst Lauren and her gang would constantly bully me. It would not be that crazy if she loved me the same manner I cherished her. And by using thinking that I could not prevent the grin that fashioned on my beaming face. After an hour of tutoring Bella at the ground of her bedroom, she become sooner or later starting to understand. However, all through that hour, we on occasion were given stuck in our personal little discussions about our personal lives and forgot all approximately what I used to be seeking to teach her. I've discovered greater about Bella that I failed to already know, like that she had 3 goldfish and by some means killed they all in about 3 hours of receiving them. Which made me giggle so hard I though I might have blown up. And that I informed her greater about my childhood and why I loved famous person wars a lot, and distinctly she wasn't freaked out via my obsession with the sci-fi channel. She really favored that I used to put on oversized glasses and notion they looked cute on me, is how she positioned it. Time flew by so speedy while we'd speak. It was appeared so herbal and right once I communicate to her. I did not sense awkward or uncomfortable. I appreciated discussing matters together with her. The entirety she said intrigued me, and seemingly the whole thing I stated captured her interests too. At the same time as I used to be telling her about my loopy tales of after I went to Disney Global and the way I were given scared once I saw the fake Beast from Beauty and the Beast and literally peed in my pants. Despite the fact that I knew it was only a few man in a dressing up, I still got frightened. Nicely anyway. At the same time as I was speaking approximately this her knee accidentally brushed towards mine. I without delay jolted lower back after I felt the electric present day go through us. She failed to shock me or whatever, but I felt something. I guess she felt it too due to the fact she blushed purple. Sorry, she muttered, not meeting my gaze. It is okay, I assured in a mumble and persisted to inform my tale, but then minutes later her knee touched my knee once more and she failed to flow it this time. I panicked whilst she didn't flow it and apologized like remaining time, that electric-powered current nevertheless passing via us. My palms started to sweat and that I should feel my skin turning purple as I tried to complete my story. It's weird, we just talked for an entire hour of guffawing and chatting and now I was suddenly very self-conscious. Are you okay? She asked apparently, scrutinizing my facial expression. I tore my gaze from her skeptical eyes and mumbled, yep, peachy. Oh my Obi-Wan Kenobi, why the hell did I just say peachy? She didn't appear to shop for it even though. You look a bit flushed, she informed. I didn't respond, too frightened that my voice could supply me away. Maybe if we simply stopped reading for some time then. She trailed off in what appeared like a seductive whisper to me. She began leaning closer and closer towards me. Her gaze holding such depth, it made me breathless. I gulped, irritating for what it looked like she turned into approximately to do. It looked like she turned into approximately to kiss me. I've by no means been kissed earlier than, making this to be my first kiss ever. And I used to be more than happy to peer that Bella would be my first. Her lips were less than a centimeter far from mine, her chocolate, brown eyes smoldered into mine. Her breath coming closer and closer to me, I might faint. Then ever so gently she pressed her warm lips towards mine tenderly. I iced up and closed my eyes like how she did as our lips moved slowly in sync passionately. I felt like I was flying as we shared this lovable second. I couldn't ask for a better first kiss. Then after 30 seconds of bliss our lips parted, we were each so breathless. Her brow rested towards mine as I opened my eyes and stared right into a pool of chocolate. Her eyes by no means left mine as she whispered, I've been desired to do this for a long term. My coronary heart become doing somersaults from she simply said. She obviously didn't know how much I dreamed approximately this moment. Ever given that I laid eyes on her I've desired this. Now it seems like my dreams are coming actual. When I shared my very first kiss with Bella, it seemed my coronary heart wouldn't stop beating unexpectedly. Things simply regarded so lots happier for me. I felt entire and ecstatic. Existence as I know it simply seems to be getting higher and higher. It become getting late and Bella advised that I go domestic and rest and that perhaps we do any other teach session any other day, which turned into flawlessly K with me. Right before I left I kissed her goodbye and felt my coronary heart pounding even louder, loud enough for her to pay attention. Which simply made her snicker. Her laughs were contagious, making me chuckle along with her. We stated our goodbyes, however I didn't want to ever leave her facet. It became nearly hours earlier than my heart eventually bogged down to its normal tempo again. It has been a while since I had my glasses on. Today was the first day in a couple of weeks that I put on my old, worn-out black glasses I used to wear. It felt nice not to wear contacts for once. It just felt natural to wear these, almost as if I was myself again. But I know I wasn't, at all. Not even close. I was different, I changed. I wouldn't exactly call it changing in a good way. I just don't see why I'm thinking about this so much. I had everything right now. I had Bella, I had good looks. What more could a guy ask for? It just seems like Bella can't complete every single part of me. She made me happy, that's for sure. Now that Emmett and I don't talk anymore, I just feel sad. Ever since that last tutoring session with Bella, we have been inseparable. But it's just I can't play Battleship Galaxy with Bella the way I did with Emmett. I just can't tease her about her being less intelligent with me, or arguing constantly for hours over difficult algebra equations. So many things I did with Emmett, I just couldn't do with Bella. It was as if I lost my brother. What made it even worse was that Emmett hated my guts for what I had done to him. And that, honey, is that you down there? I heard Esme say as she came downstairs into the kitchen, only to see me with a cup of hot chocolate at 12 in the morning. It was just my thoughts and I. Yes, I answered nonchalantly, taking a sip of my warm drink. Her eyes looked all tired and groggy because she had just wakened up. She was wearing her night robe. I always thought Esme never got good sleep because Carlisle was barely ever home. He usually stays out past midnight since he is so busy with work. How long have you been up? Not long, I replied. I just couldn't sleep. Is something on your mind? She asked. She sounded concerned. She took a seat next to me at the kitchen table. This made me feel guilty, since I wasn't being so nice to her ever since I changed. I regret saying all those rude things to her at my party. It's just, I trailed off, debating with myself whether or not I should confide in her. I could use someone to talk to at the moment. Things aren't going so well between Emmett and I just don't know how to fix it, I confessed sheepishly while looking down at my cup of hot chocolate. Well, did you do anything wrong? I sighed. I really didn't want to get into detail of how I ditched his trumpet recital and how I was sort of embarrassed to be around him during school. Nothing too horrible, but I did maybe hurt his feelings a bit. I admitted, not meeting her gaze. She smiled sadly. It's quite obvious what to do, honey, she said. Just apologize, it's as simple as that. I gulped. I knew she was going to say that. All moms do. Just say sorry. Emmett never even looks at me anymore. How was I supposed to talk to him? It's not that easy, Mom, I muttered. I can't just say sorry and then everything will be fine between us. I contradicted harshly. I knew I shouldn't have taken my anger out on her. But I just couldn't help it. She placed her hand on my shoulder gently. Then maybe I shouldn't be the one to help you with this, she whispered softly. Maybe you should ask Bella for advice. I considered this for a second. I never actually confessed to Bella about what happened to Emmett and me. I was too embarrassed to tell her all the horrible things I did to him. If I did tell her, I could only guess what her response would be. Maybe, I mumbled. Esme continued, well, whatever you do, Edward, I just hope you do the right thing. She then got up and gave me one last pat on the shoulder and started to head upstairs back to bed. And then it hit me, even if apologizing to Emmett wouldn't help. I know it would affect one person. Mom, wait, I commanded and stood up from the table. She whirled around only to see me crashing into her, giving her a big hug. I'm sorry, Mommy, I mumbled into her hair. She hugged me tightly back and that's when I knew she forgave me. Hey, what was the big emergency? Bella asked curiously as she stepped into my house. Her face scrunched up in confusion, making her look even more adorable. We need to talk, I replied unsteadily, not meeting her gaze. I couldn't see her eyes, but her voice came out uneasy and nervous when she whispered, okay. Then I walked upstairs in my room, with her following me close behind. When we reached my room, I closed the door behind me. I couldn't see her expression since her back was facing me. She observed my room for the first time in a while. I took a deep breath. Bella, I wanted to talk to you about. What happened to all your Star Wars posters? She interrupted me, her back still facing me. I was surprised by her sudden question, mostly because I only remember Bella coming into my room once when we were kids. I was bewildered that she remembered that long ago. I took them down, I replied. Abruptly she spun around to face me, her eyes wide. Why? She asked, incredulously. I didn't know how to respond. I was shocked by her sudden outburst that had to do with the posters that Alice made me take down. She noticed how shocked I was and seemed to compose herself a bit. "Did you throw them away?" she asked in a softer tone. She didn't meet my gaze. She looked uncomfortable. "No," I answered calmly. "They're in my closet." Why was she so curious about my posters? "Are you all right, Bella?" I asked, almost in a whisper. Was this some girl hormones she was going through? "It's just that I miss your old self," she stuttered. She blushed while looking down at her feet. My eyes widened with shock. "I didn't see that coming." "What do you mean?" She sighed. "I don't mean I miss the way Lauren's gang used to tease on you and then I would stick up for you. I just miss the way you used to be," she explained. "The way you used to be all shy and happy all the time. It just seems like you're not comfortable with yourself anymore." I was bewildered, truly shocked. What she just said was news to me. I guess I didn't see myself very clearly. Without Emmett I probably looked depressed all the time. What hurts me is that Bella had to see me like this. I decided to take my mom's advice and asked for her help. "What should I do?" She met my gaze and looked me straight in the eye. "Stop trying to be something you're not," she said with such intensity it made me breathless. I tore my gaze from hers and looked out the window. I finally seemed to know what to do now. Now I know what to do to get my life back to the way it was. It wasn't what I entirely wanted, but I had to do it. I couldn't live in the lifestyle I'm living in now. I wanted to go back to the way I was, my old dorky self. I was a better person back then. And apparently I wasn't the only one feeling this. The next day at school I know people will be surprised when they saw me. I didn't have on my contacts, I had my torn oversized eyeglasses on. I had my plaid pants on with a regular t-shirt. My hair wasn't gelled, it was the same untidy mess. And to be honest I was comfortable in like this. I felt like myself in it. And what made me even more comfortable was that Bella liked seeing me like this, and that's all that matters. I waited for Emmett before school started by his locker. Only 5 minutes felt like an hour to me. When he finally showed up he didn't even notice me. He just started to unpack his notebooks into his locker. I took a deep breath. "Hi Emmett," I greeted nervously, my voice coming out in a squeak. He finally noticed that I was standing right next to him. His eyes widened. "Edward?" he asked, astonished. I nodded once. "What happened to you?" "I'm done trying to be something I'm not," I murmured. "You were right all along and I'm sorry." Emmett stared at me as if I was E.T. He sighed. "I thought you would never say that." My eyes squinted in confusion. "You mean you're not mad at me anymore?" I asked, incredulously. "All I had to do was apologize. So my mom was right. I just hope you know what you did was wrong, and I'm glad that you know now," he said. "Emmett, I really am sorry," I whispered. "I meant what I said. I missed him a lot, and I regret every doing this makeover." He nodded and gave me a warm smile. "I know." I returned his smile and I knew things would go back to the way they were. Things would just be better. Much, much better. "What do you want to order?" I asked Bella. "You can have anything you want." Bella smiled warmly, making my heart speed up. "I'll just have the mushroom ravioli." I returned her smile with my famous crooked grins that she loved so much and then decided on what I wanted to order. "Ya know, this double dating thing wasn't a bad idea," Emmett said while eating some bread we got as our appetizer. I didn't know Bella was such a klutz. Bella smiled sheepishly. I couldn't help but chuckle thinking about what just happened only 10 minutes ago. While coming up the steps to the restaurant Bella tripped, thankfully I was there to catch her. After Emmett and I had our little conversation and we worked things out, he decided we should double date, Bella and I, and Rosalie and him. It turns out that we had a lot of fun. And fun for Emmett is watching poor Bella trip. Well, her facial expression when she fell was pretty hilarious. "You guys remember to come to my golf tournament on Saturday, right?" Emmett asked. Bella replied, "Wouldn't miss it." After I told Bella that I ditched Emmett's recital to go to the party that Alice had thrown for me, she was a bit disappointed but was glad that I apologized to Emmett. She actually agreed to come to any of Emmett's tournaments or recitals with me. Which made her a perfect girlfriend. And then after she patted me on the back for doing the right thing, we made out, which made me very happy. I decided to keep my glasses because Bella liked them. She thought they made me look so adorable. I kept my hair all messy and untidy like how it always is, which made Bella swoon. But I threw away the dorky suspenders and shoes. I just stuck to jeans and a Harvard sweater during dinner. Oh, and Alice said she's sorry for not coming with Jasper. I guess they were too busy to make it, Rosalie informed. Emmett snorted. They've been quite busy a lot lately. The rest of the night was good wholesome fun. We ate a lot and Bella and I shared a cheesecake. Emmett cracked some jokes which made Rosalie have coke coming out of her nose, which was pretty hilarious to see. Rosalie and Emmett were really good for each other. She makes him happy, which makes me happy. But I would have to say that the best part of the dinner was when Bella and I played footsie under the table, hands down. That night when I dropped Bella home, I walked her to her door. Instead of saying goodbye and then leaving, she dragged me at the side of her house where there was a huge tree. And I pressed her against it. This was a tradition we had, which pleased me very much. Since Bella's father was in her house in the living room probably watching TV. We couldn't have our alone time right in front of the door, so we had it behind a tree so he wouldn't see us. Bella wrapped her arms around my neck, and I leaned in to kiss her beautiful lips. While our lips were moving in sync, she took off my glasses without breaking the kiss. When Bella and I had our little kissing moments, my glasses would unfortunately be in the way. So she had to take them off. Not that I minded, at least I was kissing the girl of my dreams and she was actually my girlfriend, and I had her all to myself. I was a very happy nerd. The end.